guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a super exciting Liverpool transfer news video. We have a huge major update on the Alexander Isak transfer saga and also Hugo Ekitike. It was announced that Liverpool reached an agreement to sign Hugo Ekitike, so welcome to Liverpool, Hugo Ekitike. But this Alexander Isak news is absolutely seismic because Newcastle club sources have said that Alexander Isak is still not in the right frame of mind to travel to Newcastle's pre-season tour in Asia, mainly because he's still hoping to get a move to Liverpool FC. It is pretty clear that his head has been turned, and Craig Hope, who is a chief football reporter for Newcastle or working closely with Newcastle, he's working for the Daily Mail, and he revealed just half an hour ago that Alexander Isak has not traveled with Newcastle to Singapore. Of course, the excuse is that the striker is still nursing a minor thigh injury, but that's just an excuse. We all know that the main reason is because Alexander Isak doesn't want to play for Newcastle anymore. He doesn't want to play in pre-season games because if he gets injured, that could hamper his big move to Liverpool. And it's clear that Alexander Isak would rather not join Newcastle on their tour of the Far East. Eddie Howe apparently has the final say, but it looks like Eddie Howe, with the player, consulting with the player, they decided that Alexander Isak is not going to Newcastle's pre-season tour. So what do you think about this bombshell news? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are excited about Liverpool potentially signing Alexander Isak after spending almost £300 million already in the transfer market, make sure to leave a like in this video and subscribe if you're newer out here, because I post daily updates about Liverpool's latest and newest transfer news information. If Eddie Howe insists that Isak attends the tour and he refuses, which at the moment it looks like it is the case, the Newcastle club sources indicated that it could lead to serious consequences, potentially disciplinary action against Isak from the club. But it looks like that Alexander Isak wants to move to Liverpool. He wants to leave Newcastle. He refused to play against Celtic in the preseason game. And Ian Doyle, who is a very reliable journalist, he just came back from his holiday and he posted that Liverpool are very closely monitoring the developments of Alexander Isak's situation at Newcastle. And Fabrizio Romano posted that Newcastle insists that this fact that Alexander Isak has not traveled with Newcastle to Singapore for their preseason tour is not because of a transfer reason, but it's because he's nursing a minor thigh injury. But I mean, Newcastle are playing multiple games in this preseason tour. If he's having a small injury, why not bring him along and treat his small injury so he can play maybe the second game in the preseason tour of Newcastle? It just doesn't make any sense. But of course, they just want to take the heat off a little bit. The Newcastle fans will be absolutely fuming about this, that Alexander Isak didn't travel for preseason for Newcastle. He hasn't played yet in any of the preseason games that Newcastle had, and he will not play in their next preseason game as well. And I love this post. The reaction by Liverpool fans is absolutely brilliant to this. Newcastle tried to sign Ekitike behind Liverpool's backs, not knowing that Ekitike chose Liverpool months ago. And now we signed Ekitike and we have unsettled Alexander Isak at Newcastle as well, as we look to sign both strikers. So Newcastle might have messed with the wrong club. And also, if Isak signs, then he doesn't have the immediate pressure to start every game for Liverpool, because we have Ekitike and other options as well. And there was an interesting conversation with a northern journalist who covers Newcastle, suggesting that Eddie Howe, the Newcastle manager, went off script after the Celtic game when he spoke about Isak. And there is growing frustration from Eddie Howe and his staff about Newcastle missing out on key transfer targets. Their transferring, though, has been a pretty big disaster so far, and they understand that there is very big limitations because of the PSR squeeze, but they acknowledge that the big sale will ease that pressure very fast. So word is from Newcastle mouthpieces that Eddie Howe and the hierarchy spent the last 2 days sounding out Isak directly for his current mindset before the squad flies out to Asia. And now these stories will be even louder with Isak not traveling with the Newcastle squad. So there is something big brewing with this Alexander Isak story about his future. The longer Liverpool's reliable journalists highlight Isak's name, the more likely this transfer could happen. Liverpool can pull off this transfer. We don't have any problems with regards to money, especially with the sale of Nunez, with the sale of Luis Diaz and Harvey Elliott and others as well. And the fact that the Liverpool-based journalists haven't ruled out and they keep talking about Alexander Isak that could happen to Liverpool suggests that there is big chance that this is happening. And the more every day that passes, that chance gets bigger. It looks like Newcastle behind the scenes might be okay with Isak leaving, because they know that without Isak leaving, they can't really strengthen the team. And Liverpool are giving them time to get in his replacements before moving on to him and signing him, because, you know, Liverpool of course want to keep the good relationship between Newcastle and Liverpool. And also, if Newcastle sell Isak and then they try to sign players, every player will cost 10 to 20 million pounds more, because the clubs who Newcastle buy from will know that Isak's money, 150 or 135 million pounds, is sitting in Newcastle's bank account. So instantly every price goes up. So it makes sense for Liverpool to wait for Newcastle to sign Isak's replacement and some other transfer targets. They want a winger, they want a centre-back, they want a goalkeeper. So this could go on for weeks, because Newcastle need to wrap up the Isak replacement and other targets as well, and the whole negotiation will take quite a long time, because this is the British transfer record, potential British transfer record for Alexander Isak. Like, you look at Luis Diaz, he wants to leave, Bayern Munich are bidding for him, and yet he's on the pre-season tour. So Alexander Isak not going on pre-season tour is a big indicator that he wants to leave Newcastle, and his dream move is Alexander Isak. His dream move is to Liverpool. Alexander Isak's dream move, I meant to say. So what do you think about this whole transfer saga? Let me know in the comments below. I think it's fascinating and I love posting updates about it every day on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And Liverpool's interest in Rodrigo is real, but so far there has been no concrete move beyond initial talks with his camp, because first we need to sell Luis Diaz, and the other options are on the table. Anthony Gordon, Malik Fofana are names that Liverpool are looking at. The market for wingers is tight. There are not many great wingers available, which is exactly why Liverpool want the absolute maximum transfer fee that they can get for Luis Diaz. Selling cheap isn't an option when there are not that many quality replacements, and the replacements are expensive. Both Anthony Gordon and Rodrigo would be very expensive, and Malik Fofana is a rough diamond. He is not really a polished winger, so Liverpool need to get as much money for Luis Diaz as possible. And Liverpool definitely need 2 strikers. There is no debate. I dedicate this video to the memory of Diogo Jota. Forever Liverpool's number 20. You will never walk alone, Diogo. But the tragic passing of Diogo Jota means that Liverpool, even though we signed Ekitike and we are selling Nunez, Liverpool are 1 striker short, and Liverpool are not looking for a random backup striker. They want quality for now and for the next seasons to come. If you want to win big, you need to pay big money for big strikers. It's simple as that. Think of it this way: if Isak signs first, you probably don't get someone of Ekitike's level as a backup, but if you sign Ekitike now, you can still promise Isak the number 9 role without worrying about scaring off your depth option, because Ekitike is already in the door, inside the door, he's already at Liverpool. Then Liverpool can really go big on Alexander Isak. And if we can't sign Alexander Isak for whatever reason, if it doesn't happen, it's fine. Liverpool still have Ekitike. We can still play Florian Wirtz as a number 9, a false 9. We have Chiesa, we have Gakpo, we have Luis Diaz who can play the number 9. role. The safety net is there. This is smart squad building by Liverpool. You cover the worst case scenario. If Isak doesn't come, we still have Ekitike, and you still push for your number one transfer target, number one striker target, which is Alexander Isak. And if Liverpool get Isak this summer, then he starts, and Ekitike will be playing the cup games and some Champions League games. And when Isak needs to rest, Ekitike will start. And if not, you will circle back next year. And if Ekitike smashes it and becomes a 20-25 goal a season striker, then maybe you don't even need Isak next summer, because our Liverpool's backup, and I say backup, Ekitike, became Liverpool's first option. Yes, this is not how Liverpool we are not used to how Liverpool operate, but this is how absolute elite world-class clubs operate and plan transfer windows. Look at Man City when they won 4 league titles in a row. They always had 2 world-class strikers, multiple options, solid situational approach. So this is Liverpool trying to win the Champions League and the Premier League again. That's why we are signing so many of these players, and Liverpool always operate in a sustainable level. So if Liverpool are spending this amount of money, then you can you can be sure that Liverpool have this money available to spend. Otherwise, we wouldn't spend it. Look at previous years, how much Liverpool didn't spend money when we didn't have that available. The reason Liverpool are not really admitting that they are interested in other wingers like Malik Fofana, like Rodrigo, like Anthony Gordon is because they have this stance that Luis Diaz is not for sale. They don't want to admit that he is for sale because, showing interest in Rodrigo or Anthony Gordon would be the admission that Luis Diaz is for sale. Of course, Diaz and his agent is applying pressure to Liverpool to accept Bayern Munich's next bid, which they are going to make this week. And Bayern Munich are also applying their own pressure, saying that this is their final bid. Take it or leave it. So these are the games, the mind games being played during the transfer season. And Paul Joyce still says that Liverpool retain an interest in Alexander Isak. But of course Newcastle don't really want to sell him, but Alexander Isak wants to leave. Arne Slot views Ekitike as a multifunctional centre forward. He cannot just play as a number 9, but he can also play out wide or perform as a second striker, maybe behind Alexander Isak. So this wasn't fully shut down, this link to Isak by Paul Joyce, and Liverpool believe that in Ekitike they have a multifunctional striker who can play in multiple positions and who can flourish under Arne Slot. So this is very, very exciting. Louis Steele and also another reliable journalist shared that Liverpool's data tests showed that no one other than Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe scored higher than Ekitike in Liverpool's data tests for number 9s, which is absolutely fantastic. And Ekitike had eyes for Liverpool for months, and they had a private agreement that Liverpool will sign him when the transfer window opportunities are there. So Ekitike turned down every other club. He didn't want to sign for Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, and even Newcastle. He only wanted Liverpool. Especially after he had a Zoom meeting or Zoom call with Arne Slot, and Arne Slot convinced him absolutely 100% that Liverpool is the perfect club for him. And that was reported by Andy Hunter in The Guardian as well. So I think this is fantastic news when it comes to Liverpool's transfer window. Even if we don't sign any other player, this is an absolute 10 out of 10 transfer window by Liverpool. But I still think that we should sign another centre-back, and I made a detailed post about the Marquez situation in yesterday's video, so make sure to watch that if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.